Good morning. My name is Carlin Yee, and I'm here today to talk to you about phobia. Phobia is a type of anxiety disorder. It is the persistent fear of an object or situation in which the person experiencing the fear goes to great lengths in avoiding. It's also an irrational fear, which is thinking without the inclusion of rationality, which is reason. There's a couple categories for phobia. There's a social phobia, like agoraphobia, for example, which is a fear of open places and leaving your home, like leaving a safety comfort zone, and that's a social phobia type. And then there's specific phobia, like being scared of snakes and such things as arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders, ichthyophobia, which is fear of fish, especially raw fish like sushi. And then there's one for the fear of making decisions, which is called decidophobia. And there's also one that's called dentophobia, and that's fear of dental work. Another one is gymnophobia, which is the fear of nudity. And then the perfectionist, tachyphobia, which is the fear of failure. And then for some of those maybe possible player haters or non-players, there's one that's called gynophobia, and that is the fear of women. Yeah, women, plural, fellas. Okay, and then there's my favorite, which is anatidophobia, which is the fear that somewhere and somehow a duck is watching you. You probably won't be buying any Aflac insurance if you had this type of phobia. You know what I'm saying? Aflac. Okay. Some ways to minimize the situation of coming into contact with a duck that is watching you somewhere and somehow is to avoid ponds and lakes, because ducks flock together and there's so many of them around pond and lakes. And also, this is a good one, avoid duck museums, because there's going to be a lot of ducks at a duck museum. And then also do not travel down south to Eugene, Oregon, because that is home of the ducks. And also avoid zoos and watching Sesame Street. Now that's to avoid this, because usually when you have a phobia, you're going to avoid it to extreme lengths. There's a couple cure for anatidophobia, and that's anti-anxiety pills like Valium and such, but you need a prescription for those. There's this thing that psychologists call flooding, which in this case would be a room full of ducks, and you getting pushed into a room full of ducks and there's no way out. So you would be flooded with this type of information and, learning to liking ducks. Well, as you can see, phobias are no fun and games. It is a serious matter. I guess good luck dealing with it. I would like to leave you with a quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt, and he says, there's nothing but fear itself. What is it?